Hello everybody, this is a Lamley showcase, unboxing of sorts, showcase of sorts, premium diorama or collector sets from Hot Wheels. We're talking about them, we're going to see them all today. We're going to be asking if they're worth buying anymore. These sets have now been approaching $30 at the store, Walmart. I think they're Walmart exclusives, at least here in the United States. And you know, some of them tend to move pretty quickly, others don't. So we're going to talk about it because I don't know. I don't know if they're worth it. So I thought we'd go through all the sets and kind of ask ourselves, like, how many are worth it, how many are not, and kind of get a consensus. My feeling, well, before we get talking about it, this is not the latest set. This is the latest set, is the MR2 Skyline Porsche Advance set, which I've already done a showcase on. I don't have another version, so I brought out the cars. You can see them there. This is the set that came out just before that. Hot Wheels did send this one to me, and I just haven't showcased it, so that'll be part of this. And then I have, over to the side of me, every set released since. Now, I'll give you a little sneak peek, a little treat, because there is, and I know that there's been images of it, the Holy Trinity set is coming out, racing set, the GT1 Holy Trinity set with the McLaren F1 GTR, the Porsche, the new Porsche casting, the GT1 911, and the CLK, Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR. This is going to be a fabulous set. Ron Wong is super excited about it, and we actually did, he did bring the models when I did the sneak peeks for premium. So I'm actually going to show those for you right now as we're talking about, just put them on the turntable very quickly to give you a sense. But that's part of the conversation, right, is this set, because I think we can start there. I think this set's going to be popular. Now, there is one repeat, and we'll definitely talk about that. The CLK GTR is a repeat from a 2-pack, right? No, a Team Transport set. But, so we have to talk about repeats to make sure, you know, are the carry forwards, as they call it, worth it? Make these sets worth it, especially when they're approaching $30. And also, like, are the themes strong enough? Because ultimately you're opening these sets. You might keep them for display, but you might open these sets and the cars then, you know, might go into their own collection or whatever. So you want a strong theme, I think, when you're looking at these sets. They don't seem random. For example, this set, right? And we'll talk about it and we'll open it up. This has the Horizon Hauler, which is the, obviously the hauler in this. The 2020 GR Supra, Toyota GR Supra. Datsun 240Z, the custom, that is a carry forward or a repeat, and the Porsche 934.5. So Supra, the hauler, and the Porsche are new. We have a repeat, but what is this, Track Day or something like that is the theme of this one. All cool cars, but not necessarily a theme that gets you in, you know, like, you have to really decide individually, do I want this Porsche and this Supra, or even the repeat of the Datsun? And that's what makes, to me, this set not worth it, right? It's just, it doesn't have a strong enough theme. Now, this one, even with the carry forward, the MR2 set, sorry, the Advance set, yes, the cars look cool, they look cool together, they obviously look cool separately as well. And then, of course, the set that I just, you know, sneaked for you, the Holy Trinity set, absolutely, there's a historical element to it. Those cars were considered all massive advances, like incredible cars, and they were seen together a lot, and here we get them in silver. So let's showcase this set really, really quickly, and then let's go through and find out how many are actually worth it. And then the question is, should Hot Wheels, like, it's not only are these worth it, but it's like, are these sets, like, are they worth it for Hot Wheels? Hot Wheels isn't asking, of course, but are they worth it for Hot Wheels to continue doing? Or should we just do like this Porsche with a cool hauler and a Team Transport set in the future or something like that? I like Team Transport. Here's the back of this set. I know it's been in stores for a while. So, you know, I'm not showing anything new here, but it's, but still, it's the first time I'm opening it up and we can ask this question. So we'll go ahead, get rid of the box here. Here it is. Here is the models, nice and close up. I think what I'll do, instead of, because we want to get through this video, I'll put these on the turntable. We'll start with the Toyota Supra, and I'll just get these, instead of spending the time trying to cut these open right now, I'll get them on the turntable later. Toyota Supra in a Hot Wheels livery. I actually think this might be based on an actual car. I could be wrong. And it is, my goodness, and now that I see it up close, it is really nice. That red trim, obviously the stripes along the top are really cool. Hot Wheels deco, I think, on it looks really good. The black in the backside totally in black. 10 spokes. As far as this casting goes, I think this might be the best version. So individually, these cars are fantastic. The hauler itself, it's nice. I mean, I like it that it has kind of a retro vibe to it, and almost looks like an old Ford pickup without looking like an old Ford pickup. And so it's a cool hauler. And I should say, I have no problems with unlicensed haulers because I think it allows for team transport and these type of sets to work, right? Because there's always going to be some complicated licensing, like this car saying, I won't put our car on that licensed hauler. And so I understand they have to be this way. So I think so you get some license, some not, but I think that's a nice hauler. The Z, that is a repeat of the Sung Kang Z that was in one of the very first mixes of car culture, at least in the first year or two. So those that may have missed out, I think might be happy to see this one and be able to put it in their collection because it is a nice casting and very clean. Started in basic and then moved to premium. The star of the show for me is the Porsche. And as a matter of fact, before I put it on, this one actually starts in the family of its own because I think of those old 70s RSR Porsches in orange, usually with gold lace rims, but these one have silver. But there's two previous, they're not in premium. This continues to be the biggest mystery why the Porsche 964 RSR has not gone to premium because it's such a fantastic casting. It's been a Toy Fair model, but it's never been in premium, and it's just so rad with its, it's just such a clean casting and cool spoiler. I've always wanted to see this one go premium. This is the first edition in orange from, 2010 maybe? Maybe more like 14. Actually, I think it was 14. I think it came in the same mix as the Super Treasure Hunt, the Datsun 510 wagon Super Treasure Hunt, the original. So that one is pretty sweet. And then we got a sequel with the 993 in the same orange with the same chrome lace wheels, which I think is fabulous. And so putting these three together now with the Porsche 964, right? 934.5, right? That fits perfectly with the 934. All right, so I'm going to put those off to the side. We're going to go ahead and actually what I'll do, because we're going to be stacking up some sets here for a while. We're going to go through actually somewhat random. I'm going to go with the early sets. And you can kind of see, I'm not opening these up, and I should tell you right now that I pulled out all of these box sets. They're sealed and wanted to go through them now. And I've got every one, like I said, except for the three most recent from this year. But now that I've gone through them and I need space, I'm going to put these all up on Whatnot this Saturday. So there's a link down below to sign up for Whatnot. There's also a link to the show. If you sign up for Whatnot, if you haven't signed up, you get the $15 credit. I think we've talked about that. It's a pretty sweet deal because then you can use that $15 credit for any purchase, whether it's from me or anybody else. But I'm going to put these sets up. We're going to give a few away because I have a couple of extras, like duplicates of these sets. And we'll make some of these available. We'll make all of them available at the show on Saturday. So there's a link there. It's this Saturday. I don't remember the date, March, whatever. But yeah, so not only look at these as like, are they worth it? But then you can say, well, I'd like to buy one too. So they'll be available there. I thought that instead of putting them back, why not just make the space, send them to people who want them? So this is one of the older sets. As a matter of fact, if you look at the first sets were actually much larger. And then Hot Wheels changed the size of the packaging. So it's, and I think that probably makes a lot of sense. So when they first started and you look at these, like this one does have a carry forward. I think it's the, I think it was the Nova. But the black hole theme, gasser theme, gassers were a big thing. They may not be as big a thing as they were, but this set was really cool and actually quite popular. And I think has become very valuable as well. But a very, very cool set. And so in terms of like, if I go worth it over here and not worth it over here, I would say that this set hits the worth it, even with the carry forward, and I think, as we talk about these sets, the prices of these are going to go up anyway. We've had inflation. I'm not turning this to a discussion on economics and politics by any means, but with inflation, with tariffs, prices will go up. We can't always control that. Whatever their costs are their costs. So it's not necessarily as this approached 30, but it's the value of the pack, whether it's $30 or $22 when I think they started. That's quite an increase. But is it worth purchasing, no matter what the price is the question. This is the very first one. All of these were originals, including Junimai's Kaido House Datsun wagon. I think this one was a very, very nice debut with the Z and the Laurel as well. And I mean, was worth it for sure. I mean, an easy, worth it purchase. Keeping up with the 4 really large sets that they did as the wind picks up. Let's see if it gets this. This one is another one that has been valuable. I think people want it. Now there's carry forwards across the board. All of these models have been seen elsewhere, but I think this one is probably more valuable for the diorama that it is with the Charger sitting. It just seems there's more thought put into these, like the way the Charger sits. Obviously they use the Racer's Edge logo on this hauler. It's just, you know, with the, you know, kind of a homage to downtown LA, right? Well, not even homage. I think that is downtown LA. This set, I think, as a sealed set, really makes a ton of sense and is very cool. So that's it, worth it. Sensing a pattern, earlier ones, worth it. Okay, this one might be controversial because this is the last of the large sets. This one hung like crazy. And when I say hung, I say sat on the shelf like crazy. But there's mysteries. This one might have just been like, there was nothing in here that like was a hook for someone. Whereas gassers were hot. I mean, you almost, maybe that's the argument for these. You got to put in hype models in order for these to sell. This is a fabulously themed set with classic race cars, Golf, Porsche, the E-Type lightweight, and of course the 417 Mercedes SL. It's a fantastic set. I would say worth it, but maybe there wasn't that hook model. You know, the Fast and Furious would be the hook with the Supra. The Datsun wagon would be the hook for the Nissan set, and then the gassers just in general were hot at the time, and so that set sold out a ton. But I say worth it. I'm going to put it over here, but maybe it's not because it just didn't have the hook. So let's keep on moving. And I can also say this is one of my favorite. Now, these are not in order. Now we get to the smaller sets, and they're just not in order at all. This one was totally worth it because this one hits everything. You had a new casting, BMW M5. You had a really cool theme, BMW Motorsports, M Motorsports. And then you had 3 originals, right? The M2, M3, and M5, all like a perfect theme, right? Like this one ties together nicely. They're presented beautifully. And then the decos on all of these really make a ton of sense as well. So as our worth it pile, I promise there'll be some not worth it's. But this one, and this one I would say is a top 5 for me. All right, let's keep on going. Yeah, worth it. Hauler's great. Licensed hauler. Ford Racing. This one did tend to sit a little bit. Again, not a hook model. I think the M5 new casting was the hook on the BMW. Maybe the deco itself. But this one has that vintage racing vibe, and maybe vintage racing is just not the thing to sell, where there will be collectors who will appreciate this with the 2 Escorts and the Transit Supervan. I mean, so much history with this set. I loved it, but and I find it worth it. That they do sets like that, I'm all in. This one, I say no. As cool as the Moon Eyes hauler is, and we had 3 originals, I love this. I really do like each individually, but put them in a car culture, put them in something else. This set, the truck set, just didn't have, there we go, there's our first, just, it's a hodgepodge. And hodgepodge, like, truck's not a strong enough theme. All right. I think the BMW set is one of my all-time favorites. Here's the other one that is up there for me, and I think up there for everyone. And it never stayed on the shelf. It's the Nissan set, the R32, 33, and 34 set. This one is perfect. White cars, that signature white Skyline theme, which is fabulous. And all originals, all looking super clean. And, you know, hook model, of course, R34, 33, and 32. That just makes a ton of sense. And if we're showing that one like that, then why don't we go to the polar opposite? This is the legend peg warmer of all times. It had a carry forward in a car that no one cared about. It had hauler that's cool, but there's no, other than these being cars in Jay Leno's garage, there's no hook here at all. The castings are nice, except for this one. And I mean, it's the all-timer, not worth it. And it's been proven because there's still billions of them on the shelf at Walmart. Speaking of not worth it, this is another one. Moon Eyes, beautiful. We're getting a little bit of rain. I love the Moon Eyes hauler. Can't stand it that they did a Moon Eyes boat. While Ryan Turek's car is fantastic, the Stout Drift Truck, the Citron, the race service Citron ornamental conifer is a beautiful model, but there's not enough here to justify $30 for this set. It's just too much of a hodgepodge again. There's no strong theme, and I've heard stories of like this set being there and like the truck always being gone. So that's in the not worth it pile. Keep on going. This one has kind of stayed a little bit. This one has been on the shelf kind of, it has not, I don't know if it sold well. And this one, I just think this one didn't work because I think people have kind of hit their end with BRE. It's still a fantastic racing thing, but I think it's kind of like fading back into its vintage racing origins. It's obviously a historic racing team. Peter Brock's a legend, but I think maybe this thing got a little too hyped, BRE liveries for a while, about 10 years ago, and maybe that has kind of run its course. And so this set, while nice, you're not getting any vintage racing thing here with between the Sentra, the Datsun wagon, and the truck. You're getting a cool deco, but you're not getting a theme. There's the hook model is in there with the wagon, but I don't know if it's really kind of held its own. I guess we could push these together. I don't know what we're doing here. Let's just do it that way. All right, let's keep on going. Rally, good theme, maybe not the hook that needed to be there for these models, because I do think they are all very, very nice. I think this set is worth it, but maybe others don't. I'm going to put it in the worth it pile for me because you had 3 originals here, including that Martini homage. And I don't know. This one, same thing. Racing, fantastic. I think it's worth it too, but this one hung like crazy as well. I thought between a Brumos Porsche, this new casting, another legendary racing Porsche, and a VW hauler, this is totally worth it, but somehow the collectors didn't really think so because that one hung like crazy. So I'm putting that in the worth it pile, but maybe it wasn't. This one was. Civic is the hook. Sentra was the debut. All original. This one, you don't even have to like argue too much. Totally worth it. Rain, go away. We're happy to have you, so that's okay. This one tend to hang a little bit, or sit on the shelf, but I only think it's worth it because while I think the cars seem a little bland except for that middle one, we needed more muscle, right? Very little muscle in these sets. So worth it for me, but maybe it didn't have the hook it needed to. It was a really, I like this one for its theme. Maybe I'm putting in the not worth it because it just didn't sell very well. This one, it was not as popular as the R32, 34, 33, 34. But there you go. This one was worth it with the Hakoska, the C210, and the Ken Mary. It played with that white theme. It was a good continuation of the first one. And so I think it was worth it. And it didn't tend to hang. I mean, there were a few that hung around a little bit, but it was essentially there. All right, moving on. This one I'm saying no, because it did, and I kind of, somehow it's got lifted up here. So, but the cars don't sit together. You have an incredibly cool historic race car, which I love individually. You have a very cool exotic, which looks cool. And you have another historic tribute racing car with a John Player Special tribute hauler, but there's no connection here. So this one, just make a car culture mix with those 3, and I think people might be more into it. This one wasn't worth it. Neither was this one. You had, you'd think exotics would go, and the Koenigsegg is definitely the hook model here, but why is it so bland? It looks bland, does it not? I think the Koenigsegg's pretty awesome. But the color on the, even though that's a proper color on the Speedtail, and then the Bugatti's a carry forward. If they had put like a new deco on the Bugatti, I think this one might have been more worth it. But not totally. I wouldn't say it was totally worth it. And then 2 more. I haven't seen this one very often in the stores, but I like this one now because this one has an exact theme. So this one is an easy yes. You have 3 very cool castings between the Z and the Maxima and the Subaru and a cool hauler, all themed Greddy with a racetrack. That to me is kind of a perfect set. It may not have the hook that maybe the Advan set does or the Holy Trinity set, but that one seems worth it to me. And then the final one of our little hodgepodge going through these in the drizzling rain, and I'll get these wiped off, is the Mercedes set. I like this one too, but you had a really kind of seeming out of place carry forward, but a fabulous Sauber, and the SL I thought was cool too, but it just didn't have the hook either. And it's like, I guess I'm going through these and I'm like, I don't know necessarily why some of these didn't work, but some of them didn't work, and I think it ultimately is the price. So here, how many do we have that are not worth it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many are worth it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12. And then not worth it 9, worth it 13. Yeah, it's just kind of a little bit more on the worth it side, at least for me, but I guess some of these weren't as popular as maybe others. I don't know. I don't know what I think about these. I love the themes. All I'm going to say is this. Are they worth it? Maybe that's not me to determine. Hot Wheels knows how they're selling, right? But between the Leno set being, if there's a spectrum between the Leno set being not worth it at all and the Skyline set being the most worth it, I think the play is, because I also think this MR2 set's going to sell, I think the play is theme them tight, right? Holy Trinity, Advan, White Skyline, make them tie in together. Don't make them, even though that's Porsche, maybe it needed to be more historic racing. I don't know. Go tight on the themes, keep a hook in there, like a casting that people really, really want, and make them look good. I guess we just spoke of common sense, right? You guys tell me what you think. I want to know your thoughts on these. Are they worth it? Do you like them? Do you agree with my assessments on which ones are worth it and which ones aren't? Are you just waiting for me to finish this video so I can go and get these dried off? Yeah, probably. Thanks, everybody. Bye.